Ladies and gentlemen, it's a bright and a sunny day, and we are today at a city called Hansi, which is, of course, a city and a municipal council in the district of Hisar in the Indian state of Haryana. Now, behind me is the famous Hansi fort, also called the Prithviraj Chauhan fort, which makes Hansi really a historic city. As a matter of fact, the city of Hansi has very historic origins, and at one point of time, apparently, it was even more prosperous and important than the city of Hisar itself. Because of the mounds and the archaeological surveys over here done in 1982, a lot of idols were found which dated back even to the Gupta Empire. However, historians generally agree that the city of Hansi, or the area of Hansi, and its fort were founded by the Tomar Rajput dynasty ruler Anangpal Tomar II around 957 AD. Apparently, he built this city and this fort to commemorate his guru Hansakar. A lot of people say that this fort and city was also built by Prithviraj Chauhan in memory of his ill daughter Hansivati. But historians have found no proof that Prithviraj Chauhan had a daughter by the name of Hansivati for whom this fort and city were built. Be that as it may, this area was plundered by Mahmud of Ghazni in very early part of the 11th century. And after Mahmud Ghazni left, the Tomar kings took back this city, and later on the Chauhan dynasty defeated the Tomars and took over this area. And in fact, Prithviraj Chauhan came to rule this place, Hansi, and apparently made significant additions to this fort. Apparently at that point of time, this fort was considered almost impregnable, and it apparently controlled around 80 different forts around this area. It had walls which are 50 feet high, probably more, and more than 30 feet thick. So this was the bastion of the Hindu rulers. However, we know what happened with Prithviraj Chauhan, don't we? He was defeated by Muhammad Ghori in 1192 in the Battle of Tarain, and that marked the end of the Hindu rule in the city of Hansi. It fell into the hands of the Delhi Sultanate, and later on the focus shifted to Delhi, and therefore Hansi lost its importance more and more. It came under the Mughal rule and came back to importance during the rule of Akbar. In fact, it gets a mention, Hansi city gets a mention in Aine-Akbari, which is a biography of Akbar's rule in India. And apparently in Aine-Akbari, it is mentioned as a pargana of the Mughal Empire, and which provided around 7,000 infantry and 500 cavalry along with lots of revenue to the Mughal Empire. It's interesting that during the times of the Delhi Sultanate and partly during the Mughal rule, the Hindu community was not allowed to settle in this area, which is an irony because this was a bastion of the Hindu rulers ever since. It was only during the reign of Shah Jahan, when Shah Jahan visited over here and was convinced by a Hindu priest, Jagannath Puri Jaisamand Hansi, that the Hindu community should be allowed to flourish over here. And Shah Jahan allowed that, and that was the re-establishment of Hansi with the Hindu community. Now, of course, later on, it came under the rule of the Marathas, and in 1798, in fact, an Irish mercenary by the name of George Thomas usurped the area as a feudal lord. But after the Anglo-Maratha Wars, the British again took over this place and ruled continuously till the independence of India in 1947. At that point of time, a lot of Muslim population from this area migrated to Pakistan. As a matter of fact, the parents of the famous Pakistani cricketer Inzamam-ul Haq also went from Hansi and migrated to Pakistan. Rich history of Hansi and the rich history of this beautiful fort, which was once considered impregnable as the Hindu bastion. Rich heritage of Hansi, and glad to be here. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a localite with us from Hansi. So let's talk to him. आप अपना नाम बताइए प्लीज।
मेरा नाम कमल है सर।
कमल, और आप यहाँ पर किले के प्रांगण में बैठे हुए हैं, जो बहुत ही प्रसिद्ध किला है पृथ्वीराज का। तो आपका क्या संबंध है इस किले से और हांसी शहर से?
हांसी शहर से जन्म ही हमारा यहीं पे हुआ है सर। और हम देखते हैं बचपन से यही देख रहे हैं किले के बारे में, बहुत अच्छा, बहुत टूरिस्ट आते हैं देखने के लिए। पृथ्वीराज चौहान का ये किला है। यहाँ पे एक दरगाह भी है मीरा साहिब की, तो वो बहुत बढ़िया जैसे दर्शन कराते हैं भगवान के। और बहुत जैसे परकटे आते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा, कम से कम मेला भी लगता है यहाँ पे मार्च में। तो यही
अच्छा।
कहना चाहता हूँ मैं।
और हाँसी शहर किस और चीज़ के लिए प्रसिद्ध है इस किले के अलावा?
हाँसी शहर एक तो ये किले के लिए प्रसिद्ध है, और ये दुनी चंद का पेड़ है जो उसके लिए प्रसिद्ध है।
और क्या आप सभी को ये संदेश देना चाहेंगे कि वे हाँसी शहर आएँ? कई
हाँ
लोग
जी,
तो हाँसी शहर के बारे में जानते भी नहीं होंगे मेरे ख्याल से, भारतीय होने के बावजूद।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, जानते भी नहीं
तो
है कई
आपका
तो।
क्या संदेश है उन सभी के लिए?
उनको मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ कि बहुत से ज़्यादा लोग आएँ और यहाँ पे देखें और बहुत बढ़िया मनोरंजन करें।
आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।